Now, let's look a little deeper. In this word that they translate in the King James Version as may prove. Well, you just leave it that way, can't you? Get you, close. The King James is perfect. It's a translation. Look farther. Get it. Experience it. Let God bring it to life to you, okay? Now let's read about this. I'm going to name this one, Don't Accept Fool's Gold, or a counterfeit, an alternative way, a counterfeit of God's loving righteousness. That's not God. That's that cold as ice snow. It's going to trip you up like that Jacob nature. It's not God prevails. It's a trip you up thing. It's a sneaky snake. It's all this nonsense stuff. Okay? Don't you believe it. Okay? Now, I'm going to read when we get down in this. That may prove comes from dokimazo. That's a present active verb, okay? And that word comes from dokimos. Oh my goodness. All right. Now, let me read this to you here. I wrote it out. So it's an adjective, okay? In the ancient world, there was no banking system as it is today. And we had no paper money. There was no paper money, okay? All the money was made from metal, heated until liquid, poured into a mold, and allowed to cool. When the coins were cooled, it was necessary to smooth off the edges. The coins were comparatively soft when they were still hot. They were still warm. And, of course, many people... Hang on, I gotta put the other side here. Shade them closely, trying to get as much as they can so they can melt that shaved gold and make more gold. Remember, it's the weight, the density, how much of God's loving nature. We're not talking about natural gold. This is just a natural thing, teaching us about spiritual. What's going on now? This shaving it off. They're trying to sneaky stuff. Oh, well, that really doesn't matter, right? Okay, let's continue in this, okay? In 1 century, more than 80 laws were passed in Athens to stop the practice of whittling down the coins that were in circulation. So they'd take the ones that were already in circulation. This is perfectly the right amount of God's love. In our minds, that's what we're doing. Okay, this is the amount of love of God. This is God's loving righteousness. Well, we'll just whittle off. We get a little bit more out of this, right? Oops. Alternative. They're messing with God's ways, right? Well, we can just kind of bend it. We can just tell a little white lie. That won't really hurt nothing, will it? We'll just take a little bit, cut off a little bit of that coin. It'll still be God's love, and we'll have a little bit left over, and we can make more God's love. Counterfeiters. Okay? In 1 century, more than 80 laws were passed in Athens to stop the practice of whittling down the coins that were in circulation. But some money changers were men of integrity who would not accept counterfeit money. They wouldn't accept that counterfeit stuff that they just pasted together and whittled and taken away from other stuff that I'm not doing it exactly right, but I'm still doing it good enough. Put over down. Well, it's close enough. It's close enough to what God wants. He'll have to put up with it. We'll whittle off some of this so we can have some more of this gold over here to make a counterfeit. Make a real coin out of it. Right? See what I'm saying? Now, they were men of honor, these ones that wouldn't accept that counterfeit stuff. They were men of honor who put only genuine, full weight money into circulation. This is what God says, and I'm doing it exactly the way He said. I'm building this ark. I'm resting in God just like Noah building the ark. I'm doing it precisely and correctly as God says. I'm not listening to the mockers out here saying, why are you building a desert? Building an ark out here in the desert. Why don't you just lay down that snow right there and just die like the rest of us? No, do it the way God says. Exactly. See, Noah rested in God. He did it exactly, precisely, and correctly. We have to do it precisely and correctly to the best of our abilities. God gives the increase only if we agree with Him wholeheartedly. Pursue, like Jesus said, follow me. Pursue God in hot pursuit. Everything you got. Leave nothing back. Be a fanatic, a fan for God. Don't be just a fan for some stupid ball game or some music singer and stuff. They're people. These are games. You can like them, there's nothing wrong with that. But when you start worshiping, you're going too far. All right? Now, let's read this more, okay? There's such men were called dokimos. And this word is used for the Christian who is, or the Christian as he is to be seen in the world, seen by the world. So it also means like acceptable, approved, genuine by God. This is precisely and correct as God says. You're not cutting corners, in other words. Well, I almost did exactly the way God told me to do, but, He really didn't mind if I just lied a little bit, if I just killed a couple guys to get here, killed somebody, if I raped, pillaged, and plundered, because I needed to take care of me, myself, and I to get there. You know what I mean? I had to eat me a couple handfuls of snow right here just to make it to the house of God. Counterfeiters, right? They're not doing it. They're not building the ark precisely correctly. That ark won't raise them above the floods of this nasty worldly thinking. Come on, man. In this desert land where it's like in your mind, there's a lack of the word, a lack of the water, the thought processes of God. He's bringing us up to His righteousness. Come on, man, come on. Don't counterfeit it. Don't shortcut it. Don't try to just shave it off and make more. Go, well, I get more this way. Don't try to be a sneaky snake, a counterfeiter. Don't try to BS God. God says to do it this way, precisely, correctly. Have this much of God's nature, character, authority in what you're doing. Be genuine, and you're BSing God. That's what we're doing. Stop the BS. It's worthless and detestable. You get it? So in this dokimos, they're counterfeiters. Don't take and be the counterfeiter. Be what God tells. See, it's speaking of a dichotomy. To be the counterfeiter or not to be the counterfeiter. That is the question. To do it exactly, precisely what God says to do, or try to cut the corner, or kind of just rebel. Try to go your good and evil way and call that God's tree of life way. Quit being a daggone counterfeiter. That's not God's loving righteousness. Quit trying to be a modern day Pharisee. Betty and Buford better than you. Look down my long sturdy nose and don't poo poo in my tipple. No. You're trying to call like this snow as the temple god. That's gonna freeze you to death. You're cold as ice doing it that way. You're bitter enemies of God. just like the Pharisees in there. I'll have to do another. I've done several of them, but I've done longer ones. They're bitter enemies of Jesus Christ and his cause. They're not doing it the way he said. They're trying to counterfeit it and say, well, look at me, look at me, look at me. I'm a baby rooster. Oh, but you're not really, but I'm a chicken hawk. I'm great, I'm great, I'm great. Look at me. And inside, they're polishing the outside of the cup, and inside, it's full of all kinds of dead men's bones. They're hypocrites, stage performers. They're brood of vipers, as John the Baptist said, right? Stop that stuff. Quit trying to counterfeit. Quit trying to BS God, right? You can't BS the omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, sovereign God. Come on, stupid. Now, this word dokimos can mean acceptable, approved, genuine in the golden nature of God, not a counterfeit or an alternative to God's loving righteousness. Not cutting any corners. You're building that ark to raise the presence of God up inside you above the floods of this natural world. Let God zap that stuff out. Let God flood it out. Let God destroy that old stuff and burn up that garbage and raise it. Raise the spirit up. Increase your loving righteousness, your racham, your ability to love God as he first loved you, to his chav, his love that's beyond anything that you can't even describe it. It's beyond, it's infinite. We love God because he first loved us. Not because we cut corners and counterfeited a little bit and, well, God did it our way, so I guess it's all right. Here, you want some of this money right here? Like spiritual money? This will get you to heaven, right? Nah. That's not the way back to God. Heaven is not like just out there in sweet by and by. It's right now getting to that love. That God's growing those seeds of Christ in you up to the full nominated, the full complete stature of where he's nominated it. The potential. Oh my goodness. God's given us all a measure, a limited portion of that faith. That's in Romans chapter 12, verse 3. This guy could go on and on and on. The more I look at it, the more it is, the more it is. Oh. But do you see this? Don't be a counterfeiter. Okay? I'll take you down so far. I might take you a little bit deeper a little later. Bye-bye.